anyone crossing them, they shoot. They haven't been able to get that success in terms of their fishing like they did with Federales, but still, the Xavier now you know, a man short, which means it's going to be a lot less in terms of firepower, but they already have 14. And for the time being here, 52 now in trouble. Oh no, Frenzy, he has no mercy, completely runs over Kiddo, and the rest of Toda completely swarm the other members of 5-2. The rest of 5-2, last 2 men standing, you know what? Forget it. Leave them alone and try to survive till the end.
Wow, so proactive on their approach. Toda, they knew that the rest of 5-2 was advancing, and 52 Esports, I mean 5-2, they just rock up the wrong neighborhood, and just like that, the entire team got clipped, the first one to bow out. Man, they didn't even really get a chance to even try to go in for the trade. A little unfortunate, but we talk about how congested these areas are, and 5-2 Esports, they gotta be a little bit more mindful the next time around.
Sem9 loves go for these later rotations. They just hang around, you know, Ferry Pier. They still haven't changed the drop spot, like I think you mentioned before as well. So, you know, it's kind of fun to see how exactly they want to change this rotation here. You have Mika going a bit more aggressive to the top side there. Look at that. He's just really going around trying to find some information on where BTR is. But he can't be recovered if he's caught. So he has to really be mindful about how exactly he wants to approach that scouting mission he has.
Yeah, very dangerous approach coming from Mika, and especially now with the zone shifting deeper into the shelter grounds, I don't think it's wise of him to really put the Alien's Den. I want to say Tiger's Den, but you know, BTR, they're formerly known as Red Aliens. They always change their names for some reason, where I think like right now it's controlled by Vitality because they got that partnership with Team Vitality.
Yeah.
And overall, I mean, they are still having that same DNA, especially now with Zux's return. I think what was lacking from the previous iteration was, you know, Coach Ken brought in a lot of all these young talents who are really sharpshooters, but they may not have that level of experience as compared to Zuxi, which offers both the firepower and the EXP.
Honestly, you know, we had a conversation about like young players. I love the fact that they're actually scouting for newer players as well. Give the new blood a chance to thrive. The only way they can get better is to keep playing on the highest level that they can. So, you know, coaches like Coach Kent, who have an eye for scouting, just does great job. It just really, what's the word? They call it Malay, mengasah bakat. Yeah. But I think they just, you know, nurturing, that would be the right word, nurturing this talent, trying to make them tier 1 ready. Because you know what they say, when the more you play with the best, the more you're going to adapt and get better as well. And even if you're the last team on tier 1 and you go back down to tier 2, you're going to see a big difference in their performance from other tier 2 teams who have been playing in the same pool for quite some time.
I absolutely do agree with what you just mentioned. I mean, it's like, you know, you put a player into Barcelona Academy or something like that in football terms, and then you just have all these new stars emerge being picked up by all these other big teams as well. I mean, BTR, I mean, kudos to Coach Ken for allowing the chance for them to really shine in that sense. Now, going back to the side of Sem9, they're getting caught in between by those members of Homeboys MEC, and this isn't exactly the most comfortable spot because Mika, he's in this big bowl, but there's no approach that they could actually get away safely, so they really want to hunker down and just call in for a pickoff.
Call it confirmation bias, but again, this season, we're still seeing Malaysian teams cross each other fairly early. This time around, Sem9 keeps a close eye out on Homeboys. Spots his head. Ooh, nice dink onto him as well. Took a lot of damage, forced to move back. He cannot hold his position. Mika sharp as ever, even after his hiatus for I think quite a bit before coming back into the scene. Meryl low, they get completely just hounded, by the members of Sem9. They're doing a great job of cross-firing off each other as well, which means that it's basically a meat grinder for any member that's taking a little bit too much time to rotate in. And one more member fairly low, so if anything, Homeboys, they need to cut their losses if one of them did get knocked down. 2 already. Not a great start for this team making it this far into the game.
Yeah, Sem9, this is the aggression that I've been talking about from the get-go, right? And they just doubled it down. I love the approach coming from Viren with that drive-by to find the very first catch, and then they just sent the entire team rallying on. Now that forces Adik Boy as well as Shamils to really commit to this fight, and now they're being absolutely outnumbered. I don't see a way out for the side of Homeboys, but to really try to, you know, toss whatever throwables that they have out of the bag to try to match up with 7-9 on such a great tempo. On the opposite side, that's going to be Voin Donkey also being spotted by Mika right now. It's going to be the long-range approach, not really catching on to them just yet. But that first contact is vital for them to really track their approach. Some damage being done as well. Wow, sharp shots coming out of Mika to really push the rest of Voin Donkey back.
He's so aware. Game sense is massive here. He's marked 3 different angles if you include the homeboys who are hunkered down at the bottom side as well. Thinking it's so hard to rotate. And 7-9, they're not done. Anyone that crosses in trouble, as Potato will be the next one to fall. At the very least for Voin, gets a bit of their own kills as well, so they're not going out without a fight or without any points for the time being. But homeboys here stuck in those smokes, and Mika says, you know what, eat this nade. Adik boy knocked down. Shamil's running for his life. No, I think Shamil's gonna try and recover him. Needs the firepower. Nah, not happening. Because that skill stolen away by Mormon. Playing ring around the rosy here. And Mika gets chopped down to smithereens. Shamil's, at the very least, gets his revenge.
Wow, quite the outstanding play coming from Shamils to try to turn the tides around. And he saw this opportunity because the rest of 7-9, they kind of lead Mika all the way back because they were chasing onto Voin Donkey, and now onto the other side of the map, it's going to be Lobby X and the rest of Exosphere striking down members of MXG as the Titans are going up against each other. Big nades into the trenches. It is going to be a tough bunker for those members of MXG to hold out as they try to isolate KNS over onto the corner. He's just hung by the corner of the tree.
No!
That nade dropping so close, but not quite enough to take him down.
Oh, I was so nervous. That nade just bounced toward him as well, but he's not gonna get out unscathed. The Sui boy tries to isolate these fights, but the amount of bodies thrown at him, a bit much. Exosphere, we love this aggression and this style of play. This time around, Lobby is very much alive. He was one of the big impact players for this team and much more alive and alert this time around. BTR in trouble, stuck in the corner, hunkered down, cannot leave that corner as Boom Esports gatekeeps them to smithereens. Octa needs to be recovered. Smokes to keep him at bay here. He has to move backwards. I think he's going to meet up with his teammate Yummy to bring him back alive into the game again. But for BTR here, Federalis will be the first one to just really poke his head out. Finds nothing. He might be a little bit more aggressive. Throws in a bit more smokes, makes a wormhole for himself. Just cross over. The denial of vision means a bit more space to work with. And I think that's exactly what BTR wants to do. They're slowly but surely leaving that shelter area. But no one is following up.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for them to really leave because there's also Alter Ego Ares holding them down on the other side of the shelter grounds and back towards the other corner of the map. We're looking at close proximity fights once more. We recommit into this fight between Boom as they be able to double down, finding Federalis overstepping the boundaries into the smoke, and now BTR pretty much stuck right underneath that bunker while the rest of the members of Todak have been able to find Exosphere out in the open, and they will capitalize after they've taken on that fight up against MXP. And it's just back-to-back fights, and there's more to come.
Here comes nades. Redface eats the full force of it. Rosemary, he does not miss. He's been incredible today with those nades, with the damage as well. Still putting in pressure. Alter Ego waiting in the wings. They're a little bit more further out here, but they're so relaxed right now. They're just allowing all of these teams to fight each other. It's a 3-way Indonesian derby just on the southern side, and it's not going to be easy. Each player definitely very, very skilled and very, very hard hitting in terms of impact as well. Rosemary waiting in the wings. He was the MVP from that last map. Another nade thrown here. It's gonna be Krypton to dish in the damage, excuse me. But Mastery is there. They know exactly, have an idea where exactly the players of Alter Ego are hunkered down. But the matter is, where exactly are their hits? They cannot dink them. They cannot penetrate their skulls. They cannot dome them at all because the movement is making it so hard for them to track.
Yeah, it definitely was very difficult for them to actually land much, but Krypton has been able to connect with those grenades. We get an instant replay of what went down around the towers, where Team Secret, they go toe-to-toe up against these other players of FaZe Clan, and they've been able to convert those numbers. Meanwhile, back towards Alter Ego, Snake now hustling up against those members of Boom Esports that's been trying to seek refuge from that corner of the hill, but they could not even find much of those grounds. So now it's down to Yummy as well as Octa. They gotta cut their losses as Pombit has been knocked previously. So Alter Ego, they close right in, sending 2 members right down on the hillside. Alter Ego just knew how to really choke them out in this very far corner of the map.
Honestly, I'm quite surprised that Rosemary survived for as long as he did here. But the rest of the team still in trouble. Boom Esports, they brought Octa back, not knocked out again for the second time. Not able to just stabilize, find a footing at all. Still in very dangerous waters. As for Team Secret, you have Oki in the corner here. Doki alone and Ganyang close by as well. If he didn't die that day, he would be another example of a roadkill. RRQ has been very proactive with that today. They're just really dishing it out. And RRQ, you could tell they weren't really happy with how they ended that last map. They want to try and play catch up against Alter Ego, another team they've been hiding in the wings, in their shadow for many seasons already.
With 7 teams remaining, you can see majority of these teams consist of all the Indonesians who have been able to really hunker down to that spot around that shelter ground. And RRQ, they were just overwhelming teams coming from the high ground terrain without needing to really put their bodies on the line. And they just made great decisions right across the field in order to secure those 4 pointers. And now, with a little bit more wiggle room to play out, Alter Ego needs to make that decision. Do they go in to push upwards against that member of BTR that they have yet to settle up with? And now that they don't really have the zone as well, this is the best time, if ever. And now they close right in to just clear them all out. BTR this time, a little better than Rondo. 7th place position is not the worst, but not the best either.
Man, you really gotta give it to Alter Ego, man. They're so good at map control and zoning. We started off this 3-way, 4-way Indonesian derby with Alter Ego, the one on the back foot. They were not even close to that circle area, but they were taking these fights methodically. They have a way of approaching these fights one by one. They take it in stride, but still keeping attention to the teams that are further away as well. Sem9 this time around want to challenge RRQ, and they are keeping them at bay. Nades roll forward here. Yuhai moving back, but he walks straight into that nade. He gets knocked down. Firen stuck alone, needs to bring his teammate back alive, but Yuhai cannot move, do not cross at all. RQ definitely knows that Firen is close by as well, so all they can do right now is just keep pressuring, but they cannot afford to stay for quite so long because another team is pressuring them in exchange. It's going to be Voin, who's also keeps an eye out on Firen as well. Voin, Alter Ego crossing by as well, in trouble. Alter Ego just completely swarming from every single corner. Stole away a kill. Krypton falls, Snape trades, Moana drops down Ganyang as well. And the rest of the team, both teams now in trouble. Alter Ego crippled, 1 player knocked down. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to bring 1 teammate back into the game as well, as ERANGLE hears everything in the wings and puts in the damage of their own.
They tunnel vision onto Firen, and that was their own demise. By doing so, Alter Ego right from the back, and they were not ready to really pick them on. And just like that, Alter Ego Aries take charge of this fight, and now once again secures the top 3 finish. Point Donkey, we talked about them needing to find their winning ways. They now have a solid chance as they will dwindle down the numbers of Alter Ego Aries. Only 1 left right now. And we're looking at a 3v1 with ample space for them to work with. Mormon, Joker, segregated across the field. Rosemary needs to be the hero of the moment for Alter Ego to get a back-to-back win. Voin Donkey now trading back for the side of Mormon as those smokes have been provided from his teammates to hold on for now. Voin Donkey gets those quick restock, and they got themselves that compound to work with. They're definitely relieved in this situation where they have a vast space for them to really take control. And Arena, they don't really have to really fully commit to this fight, but they're trying to see if they can find a pick off up against Rosemary.
Arena, so much control of the southern side here. They have a compound to work with as well, some terrains. And Alter Ego, just in the wings, 1 player left is just Rosemary. Forced to be a little bit more quiet here as Voin pressuring on the members of E-Arena. 1 member knocked down while he's barely breathing. Shouldn't be a problem to get that reset in. But I'm quite surprised at Rosemary's approach here. I would have thought, okay, you're all alone. You don't really have space in that zone. Be a bit more quiet. But no, he's still rallying. This guy has no fear.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised myself as well because he is kind of pitted up against a stack of tree on each side, but he's really causing a lot of pain towards those members of the arena, and now with a lot of attention being drawn to him, he still finds it up against Sakura into the smoke, and he confirms it up against Mormon as well. This Matt lad, he's absolutely insane, and he's about to just rip out E-Arena apart.
That is crazy. He's saying, okay, I may be the last man standing here. I may not get a chicken dinner, but, you know, cut all losses. Just try my best. Still stealing away another point in the pocket, making E-Arena bleed on top of that as well. And now the blue zone shifts, and he's on that buggy. He's all the way rushing into a corner here. He has to be careful because he's going to be sandwiched between Voin as well as E-Arena here. Managing to stay away here, uses the side of the vehicles, and as everyone tunnels toward him, you can start to see it. Voin Donkey, as well as the other teams, start to rally back, and he is trying to play this battle of alliances. One team gets distracted, he strikes in. He tries to be the distraction. Teams tunnel on him. He lets the other team put in that damage. He's hoping for situations he's able to just go against a 1v2 or a 1v1 because each team can dwindle down the numbers. But Voin Donkey has not allowed that to happen because of the advantages they have. The compound, the cover, the high ground. For E-Arena and Alter Ego, it's almost basically end game for Melodies at this point.
Yeah, and his game IQ is really second to none when he moves into that direction of that broken tank. He's been able to also regain a lot of all these resources to really buy a lot more. That foot exposed for Joker. He's absolutely in trouble. Razak, he's just gonna lock his crosshair. He got some damage done, and it's just about matter of moments. Joker, he's losing control of that zone because the blue zone's also chipping right in a matter of seconds.
Oh man, you can tell that Rosemary really wants that kill. He's putting in so much pressure to a Joker, and he's stuck sandwiched between two different teams. Well, it's just Rosemary against Voin at this point. It's just a matter of who can get that second place, right, for those extra points, and both players just want to really outlive each other. As Voin Donkey, they've made a nice little wormhole to cross forward here. Razak alone, that nade could be huge if he just manages to chip down Joker. There's a big possibility that that's a bit too huge, but that, Rosemary can just dip his hand into the cookie jar, steal away that kill as well. And now, here comes the silence for Rosemary, just hoping for Voin Donkey to do the dirty work for him.
Yeah, he's just really got to buy time because now it's Joker who's getting focused on. Razak overcooked the first nade, looking for a second, and he's got the rest of these other members to really wrap it all around. So it's just a matter of moments for Voin Donkey to celebrate with a win, unless if there's just going to be a tag team between Rosemary as well as Joker to take on the members of Voin Donkey. Last stand coming for Joker, not quite enough. Razak secures it with the grenade, and now it's down to formalities. But can Rosemary clutch a 1v3? It's still possible, but I want to see how this plays out.
He can't get these isolated fights, but I think Voin Donkey does not want to give it to him. The best approach, just wait for those smokes to dissipate and just push forward. Maybe swing as a 3, perhaps. There's a lot of respect given to him. Oh, he saw that Michael Pixel angle. It's perfectly done. Now it's a 2v1. We have Zeta and Voxy very, very far apart. Rosemary can easily isolate these fights by using the tree line as well. He's hoping that someone will peek through. He's managed to juke every single utility thrown at him. It slowly makes his way forward. If they don't see him prone forward, it could mean double trouble for him. A lot of that damage as well. Zeta probably knows that the damage has been done. Throws another nade, and that is enough. Zeta done his job. And a lot of respect given to not isolating these fights, not allowing him to have these 1v1s. And Voin Donkey secure a winner with a chicken dinner on map 2.
That could have been a very hairy moment for Voin Donkey, but they've been able to regain that control.
Come around very much smack dab in the middle of the circle, is looking to make sure that no one takes their space. And unfortunately for Team Secret, GK will be the one to fall down here. And it's just unfortunate because I don't think that he was aware that Snape is as close as he was.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, Team Secret, once again, getting punished in the midst of that rotation. And like you said, you couldn't really spot from that alternate angle. And right now, since they've managed to catch GK, can they catch Juke as well, as he's trying to see if he can find that position to really rock up against Snake.
Ah, the
Meanwhile,
Malaysian
7-9,
curse.
they've already set up the camp over onto the gas station. Adik Boy caught out. This is the second time round that they are meeting up with Homeboys, and they're definitely enjoying it. Snake, he gets the double dab onto the double J's of Team Secret.
That's honestly so ballsy the way he played that as well. It was a drive-by where he slowed down and purposely took out his weapon. That is insane stuff coming from him here. As Homeboys once again find themselves toe-to-toe with a 7-9. They weren't able to win against them earlier, the very least. This time around, Yuhai so low already, barely alive. The nade barely passes him. He's going to try and take a little bit more of a proactive angle. As one of the members for 7-9 knocked down already, has to be recovered. Nah, hard to do so. Hard to get close when the rest of Homeboys are just pressuring them all together. And 7-9 said, you know what, doesn't really matter. Let's just take this fight on, head on as well. Mika takes a lot of damage, but is he doubling down? Yes, he is. Throws in that nade. Fortunately for him, goes a bit more wide. And he hasn't even recovered yet. Didn't even go for a reset. Instead, he's prioritizing putting in that nade, putting in that damage first. A bit too high up, but enough to put Meryl in a bit more of a chip damage situation. As Meryl keeps his head low, knows where one member of 7-9 is. A bit more far out. Is making it rain nades from above as well. The blue zone is not making it easy for both these teams to stay alive as well. Mika still not alive, but Kim on the outside area finds him in the end, knocks him down. One player knocked down and second to follow. Homeboys this time around, they want to stand tall against their counterparts from Malaysia. And Firan running for his life, barely alive. He's in the corner trying to keep his team still very much in the game, but hard to do so as well. As Homeboys, that nade hits him. Shamil's alone. Kim has to keep his team alive, has to stay at all. Breaks the door. Firan cooking up that nade. The timing is good. He lobs it down forward. No, he's still making it count all the way till the end. Kim barely alive, and Kim will be the one to close out that fight by the skin of his teeth.
What a clutch moment by Kim, starting from that wide swing with the DBS into this charge directly onto Firan, and he's just pixel perfect on his approach. That was an insane 1v1 duel that saved his teammates from perishing in this match itself. And Homeboys MEC, they redeemed themselves, shutting down the doors of 7-9, who was on the streak, and now they will begin theirs. Hopefully they will still be able to go for that pickup with Real limping early on, but I don't know how much time can they buy by staying outside of the blue zone. Meanwhile, with the rest of the teams right now looking to take a space somewhere between the mansion grounds or even shelter, now with the charge approach. NST got caught out all alone, and MXG is just gonna make an easy claim into this territory.
Rosemary knocked out already. The rest of Alter Ego rallying to bring him back into the game, but DX is not going to allow that to happen. Your nade T going to cook that nade to perfection. Oh my god, Krypton, that was ballsy as heck. He rushed forward past that nade, shot him in the face, got 2 knocks to his name here. Parajin alone tries to isolate this fight. Krypton low, the smokes should keep the rest at bay here, forced to move up to that second floor. And he's going to try and get some advantage here to anyone crossing up forward as a 2. Got 1 knock already. The other member of Alter Ego forced to move down. Krypton decides to just wait and go for that reset instead. Snape in the wings, going to cross forward here. Parajin has a lot of information. You can see from the angle he's holding. Levi also close down as well, as Alter Ego will suffer. Both of them bleeding to death, and Alter Ego with only 1 player left standing here. They are punished, and DX, they're gonna be happy with how this turned out.
Persian really followed them into that choke point of a stairwell, and after that, supported perfectly by Levi's, throwing in that massive deflate in order to turn the tides back towards the members of Alter Ego. Those were insane plays after another, and we're about to get a little bit more long-range nades into the shack where the arena is hoping to find a little bit more of that space inside the garage, challenging the likes of BTR, but Joker, he could not really get the perfect glimpse, but now, for a tag team tandem, they're trying to go for the full swing. Zuxia Barrage over the back, and E-Arena, they're in shambles right now. Drawing low, Zuxi has got to do it all by himself right now, and the Blue Zone's closing in, and he shuts them down! BTR, they find them all!
That was insane. Just a drive-by straight to the face, just completely shredding the team. But BTR paid a hefty price for that cleanup. He paid with 3 of his teammates. Now Zuxi has to play the survivability game. But I wouldn't put it past this guy to be able to pull that off. We've seen miracles done by him in the past few seasons. But right now, most importantly, he has to keep himself fairly hidden by the teams crossing here. It's MXG that he has to look out for. And he's staying as quiet as a rat as this team passes through. He has to tank that blue zone for the time being.
But the smokes are also giving his position away as well. I mean, he can only buy as much time as necessary, but I believe there should be just about sufficient first aid kits that he could actually find from those drop bodies of E-Arena. So he could definitely have just about enough wiggle room in order to make his entry a little later on. But we take a look at the update. It goes further into the mansion grounds. RQ smack dab in the center. And once again, we're looking at 3 Indonesian teams really holding onto the prime position, so we might see another repeat between those 3 teams: Voin Donkey, RQ, and Alter Ego.
The corner waiting in the wings here has to go past. Now it's gonna be 5-2. Not too sure if the members of 5-2... Oh yeah, they definitely spotted him. Ryan already rushing forward here. Zuxi just running for his life. He's already so low, and he's also a very, very dangerous position to be in. Zuxi, what are you gonna do here? What's the play, man? Running away? No, not too sure, because Voin has their eyes on homeboys. Keem knocked out Meryl, half HP left. The nades are just rushing through toward them as well, as Voin completely overwhelmed. Homeboys, you ran out of a lion's den straight to another.
Yeah, it was just a tough position to be in. I mean, they tried to claim that real estate as well, not knowing for the fact that Voin Donkey has already taken all that space. E-Arena, they also bowed outside of the zone. So that leaves us with only 12 more teams remaining. And it is just a flock of crowd into the outskirts of Mansion, and in this center of it all is going to be RRQ. Despite them holding that real estate, it's going to be rather difficult for them to really find those angles up against MXG, which is why they have to expend plenty of all these troubles towards those corners of the fences. Whereas RQ, they're happy enough with their position that they've got all the rest of Team Secret stuck inside of the same compound. And it's just going to be a lot of back and forth between all these 3 to 4 teams who are currently situated into the area. So I'm expecting maybe a pick-off or 2 to happen in this stance until the blue zone actually closes further away or into this area itself for them to really commit into something. So we take a look out on the outskirts. 5-2 now, spotting out Levi's. He's trying to refuel, but it's the worst possible location for him to be at right now. Great tax coming from Ryan. Not quite enough to take Levi's out.
Levi still rallies back though. Takes him to fairly low HP as well. But Ryan, I don't think he's actually undeterred at all. He's just going to reposition himself and just see whether or not the other 2 members of DX will cross him. Don't think it's going to be happening. DX now just going to go for a longer rotation, northern side instead. Why bother fighting southern side? We can go for a fairly safer area on the top side here. As for RQ, this is the middle area of the map, the absolutely middle area where Mansion is, which is one of the few covers that is available to be used as RQ. I have to say, Moana as well as RQ have been finding these nice little micro angles to work with, putting a lot of chip damage for these players. And if you're a player that's not really looking to move around the map, you're just looking to hunker down, getting tagged like that, which means that your resources are just going to slowly dwindle away.
Yeah, bandages could come in pretty handy right now, but not so much so for Exosphere as well as Face Clan. The 2 ties up against each other right now. Chaco as well as Chopper trying to hold down the line. Earth is on the other side though. But numbers aside, Lobby X is looking for a full push. But he's being held back by all these definitely being thrown right in from Canary. Chopper right now tries to also try to get a little bit more of a glimpse. Goes back and forth, still not finding anything at all. But the health bar is dropping really low for Lobby X. He's got to be very mindful of this position. And these nades are clipping onto Exosphere slowly and steadily. And Lobby X finally found something in return.
Nice angles played from the window. You can start to see the desperation coming online for Exosphere here. Kianes with barely any space to work with. He's just going to try and move forward, making his teammates take the fall for him to just really tunnel vision the rest of the team here. Kianes trying to bring Teiki back in the game. Not going to be the easiest. Chaco in the smokes, just rushed by each other. And Chaco falls. Kianes barely alive. Earth's waiting for the right time here as Canary and Earth decide to play together. They just pass by each other here. But Kaneki will be caught in the end as FaZe, I have to say, their tag team formation caught the entirety of Exosphere off guard.
Exosphere were so unfortunate as well. They got clipped from the outskirts and they were forced to really double down onto this area. All thanks to Todak. And now Todak being the Green Reapers, they're looking to clean up shop on the weakened side of FaZe Clan, but the trades go through. Oh, Todak, they managed to still go in for the rescue. And FaZe Clan still has one more member alive. Now they're trying to retrieve all that intel. And Todak, they're also looking to cut some losses as well. They won't make it in time.
Oh, that's so sad.
They're all going down in shambles.
Yeah, it's looking from bad to worse here as well. As the last member, at the very least, they do deny points away from Boom Esports here. They died to the play zone, so that's fine. But for the rest of the team, cannot do anything else other than that. Todak with only Kenny left alive. And I think Kenny has always been the brains of the team, so I wouldn't be surprised if he were to pull some insane miracle in terms of survivability here. As an 8 come through for DX, 52, 5-2 as well as DX have been at each other's throats for quite some time now. They thought about, I think I saw DX decide to rotate from north side from the area. They ran into MGX. They were like, okay, that's not happening here. I have to go down southern side here and take another fight instead. You gotta pick your poison, and they chose to fight them 5-2 at the southern side.
Yeah, they really have to squeeze for that tight spot inside Mansion, and it's either they just rock up against DX or just really hold back ever so slightly or look for that further rotation over the south side. So either ways, it's not an easy decision, which is why they're just trying to buy as much time as possible for the moment. Boom Esports, they got a glimpse as well as a couple of pickoffs from that early scuffle that we just witnessed coming in from Exosphere, FaZe Clan, Todak. And now that it's all drawn to a close, they're looking for options to weigh in into this Mansion finish. And we got that quick replay onto what went on. I mean, it was just absolutely chaotic. That they're blindsided by the smoke, passing by each other, like you said. But FaZe Clan, I think that they definitely did wonders in that close quarter combat.
5-2 still very much alive here, and D Xavier and them have been stuck in this Mexican standoff for a good 2-3 minutes or so already. Just a prone game here. It's all wide out in the open. There's no cover to work with. Hoping for another team to get involved in this situation. I think DX wants to just really cut their losses. I think they just want to try and rush forward if they can. This is huge because they pulled away from Mansion as well, which means that everyone is out here in the open. Those two at Mansion side that have a compound, if they move a bit too late, it might spell doom for them, and that's exactly what it spelled out for Ryan, as NST will be the one to catch them off guard. Kiddo playing with the very edges of that circle as well. I'm pretty sure that DX have already marked his position.
Probably so, and right now they're absolutely on the hunt. You could potentially go in for something, but like you said, they've already spotted him out and just run him over to secure another point in the bag. Now, the question now remains here. Half of Mansion is being covered while the other half is not. And the ones who are on the other half is going to be Moana and some members of Alter Ego. But Moana pushes through. Finds one member of MXG. Takes the close angle approach. And he's looking to double it down with the taps of the S12K. Not really finishing the job just yet.
Nice.
He goes in for another jump shot and secures it. 2 members of MXG eliminated by Moana alone.
Moana's doing God's work with how he's escalating these fights as well. They're going for drive-bys. He's very patient of how he approaches it. Now he spots up Boom. I'm pretty sure that all the members of Alter Ego have it coded in their minds. Like, if you see someone moving, just shoot, right? Why not? You're alone. It's okay. Just put in that damage. You have a gun that's perfect with a 3x scope here to put in that mid-range damage as well. It's good. And now we move over to Team Secret. The amount of rotations from northern side is starting to get a little bit more intense, if you ask me. With Boom Esports coming in, with Team Secret coming in the southern side, and MGX close as well. Boom Esports, this is a chokehold for them because you have to cross not only that compound, but also those gates as well. They're trying to build themselves a nice little wormhole as they cross forward here, but Moana is keeping a sharp eye. If any single pixel is alright, it's just not there, he's gonna shoot.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because Boom Esports, they got themselves funneled into this trajectory where Moana gets a full clip over onto the corner. Not quite enough to actually take out that member just yet, but Moana, he's holding firm, and he knows that that's one member charging right through. He quickly repositions, and now looks for those close angles with his S12K. Boom Esports, staying afloat, but not quite really finding the right positions because there's still all the other teams that they are concerned about. So they will just leave Moana alone for the meantime and take the rest of the space inside of the mansion. But they really need to go even deeper to really find more of that wiggle room, because in stage 7 it is going to be the exact same problem that Boom Esports will face.
Whoever has managed to go through the compound is going to be huge. Moana barely alive, running for his life. I'm not too sure how exactly he stayed alive for that long, but MXG, is gonna be the one to find him in the end. Pmsl is probably kicking himself in the back now, not able to find that final angle just to spray. At the very least, for Kenny, he's done the damage, stolen away a kill here, and somehow staying alive, just really taking his time crossing forward here. Not too sure how exactly he did that, especially such a wide open area. Probably a rush forward, who knows, would love to see a replay on that.
Yeah, he was pretty much having himself in the forced position where he just really has to book it. And MXG finding a way to capitalize by really holding firm into that tight spot inside of the shack, has been able to really take that claim. Stops the streak of Alter Ego, so I guess the rest of the teams will be decently happy with that, but still a lot of catching up to do, because that's more than 50 over points for Alter Ego so far in this round 3. Boom Esports, they do have those numbers though, but to even get their way across to RQ is going to be a tough task, because they need to exit through that one-way fence, and that's going to open themselves into that crosshairs of RQ that will funnel into that corner. And right now, the trays looking beautiful for Genfos to secure the IGL, and there's still more to come. Pmsl makes his way over to the broken walls. He's being brought down low, and they're looking to clear him out, but couldn't find the angles. The jump shot will do for Nepeko.
My god, Pmsl, that was a little bit too aggressive there. He was already so low. He's still challenging right now as Mastery tries to steal kill way he does. One member knocked down already, needs to be picked up there. The nades are just so unforgiving. And RQ, the high ground advantage gave them so much space and value to take advantage of that completely spraying down Boom Esports. As you move to the last 4 here, with Voin, the only team healthy, not anymore. One member knocked out. RQ is still very much available to take his teammate back into the game. But for Voin, they have to find a different way to survive here. They have control of the southern side. They have a pretty tanky vehicle as well to work with. Let's see what they do.
RQ this time finding themselves into the top tree. They were denied by Alter Ego the past round, and now they will be denied no longer. 4 members strong up against a 3-member strong Voin Donkey, as well as Team Secret, who's been elusive for the entire match. But now it's their time to shine. Zeros now pops that grenade into the smokes, trying to find something in return up against the rest of RQ. Will they walk towards it? That nade falling really close to Donkey, chipping out with his health bars. It's going to be Razak. They managed to find that catch. And now that takes Team Secret down to 2.
Waiting the wings here. Oh no, was really hoping for Doki to survive just a little bit longer. Not happening. As the rest of Voin puts in that pressure. One thing's for sure about Void is that these last crucial circles, they have a different or interesting way of playing here. And RQ, they need to be super careful of that as well. They have the man advantage, one, albeit quite low. You have to understand that for Voin, it's all about getting control of that map. Look at how they're moving, the formation here across the map in different terrains, different covers as well, which means that they're in prime position to swing off one another and trade.
They've been holding on to those safe position for quite some time right now. It's RQ that makes this entry, and they're looking to spread their wings as well. But take a look at it, so much of that open space in the mid ground, which is going to be very tough for them to navigate around. So whatever smokes that they do have, they need to really deploy in this final hour. Potato is going to look for that flank. Cheekily sneaks around the grasses. RQ looking to do the same. Despite Voin Donkey having a deficit in numbers, I do think that they do have a slight edge onto controlling this region itself, with a little bit more dip for them to really cover some grounds. RQ, they gotta really play this one perfectly to isolate those targets. And now, whoever gives away that position is gonna be losing an advantage.
I'm just waiting for that first shot to happen, right? Whose head pops out first? Who's out of position? Some smoke's done already. This is huge because it cuts off some vision as well to allow for RQ to go a little bit more aggressive. I'm not too sure if Nepeko did loot that package there in the back, because if it did, he gives him so much value in terms of shields, in terms of weaponry as well. But Ganyang will be the one to show his hand first, and this is okay. It's not too bad at all, because for him, being able to steal away the crosshairs from his teammates could give that big opening for his team to completely swarm. But Voin Donkey, they're not at all looking to even bite that bait.
Yeah, and that is absolutely vital, because that kind of aggression is now being met right with Potato back at Lapar being absolutely exposed. The nades falling really closely towards Potato. Den Boss has been able to creep right in, all thanks to Ganyang's approach. And now Razak doubles down, drops the nade towards the side of Den Boss. They manage to get another contact upon Zeta, and this might just be it for RQ to close right in. Ganyang falling low, but he knows where exactly to look for that nade. Coming in closely towards Razak, not really connecting, and now the trades looking good for the side of Voin Donkey to return the favor. Now it's all down to Den Boss to clutch this very moment. He stands up to try to look for a trade, but it is still going to be RRQ being denied by Voin Donkey, securing the back-to-back win. A full-on point-blank shot right now. Penny soaking a whole lot. And it could have actually been a case in point. Shamils wins out that trade, but there's still the rival coming from behind. It's 9 here to call the shot. Both sides, 75% HP. Now they're really drawing it out to close by the window pane, but none of them connecting at all. This DPS needs to hit the mark, and it seems like Shamils is banking on hopes that he will eventually go in for the swerve. And 9!
Oh my God!
Right into it!
Oh my God, Shamils, you are a god of isolating fights, because what the heck was that? Granted, 4 eliminations by the cost of 3 of your teammates' lives. Fair enough, you get the points. Game is game. It's not over quite yet, but 5-2, Ryan knocked out as well. I'm not too sure what is going on with 5-2 here. It seems like they're stuck somewhere out in the blue, and I don't think they can rotate inside. As Sem9, king of the hill for now, and NST wants nothing to do with them, at least for the time being. And Sem9, they want to collapse. Rushing forward, you have Mika and Fury at the bottom side, Yu Hai alongside his teammate over on the end, as Grumpy will be the first one to fall. The rest of the team cannot pick him up. And now NST, you can tell, they're just really thinking whether or not they want to try and rally back, do a revenge kill, take one to their own name, but I don't think they're in a good position to do so, especially with this hills, especially since they are playing at the corners there. I think they just want to say cut their losses, get into that circle.
Yeah, they definitely don't want any business to do with Sem9. You saw how quickly Ferg goes in for the knock, and his teammates instantly finishes. Joker, though, on the other side, gets a beautiful hit shot onto the members of SP. And now a long-range approach coming from the rest of Sem9 as they are battling for a little bit of a jostle control over onto the outskirts of Pachinki. And on the far right of Pachinki is going to be RRQ right now. Once again, lock and loaded up against Alter Ego Ares for the third time, and that instant nade onto Jen Foss was beautiful.
Here comes Rosemary. Always that first contact player. I see how exactly he swings out with the nade, throws it in. But an answer back. Oh my God, that is such great timing coming in from Ganyang as well to deny that space. But Rosemary walks in. We gotta give it to the rest of Alter Ego. You have a tag team formation with Snape taking the lead when Rosemary's down to shoot him in the face. Lovely stuff.
Pixel, perfect plays coming out of both sides, but Gen Foss, they were deteriorated prior to this. I mean, they lost 2 members and they were just hoping to seek refuge inside of the garage. But the rest of the members of Alter Ego Ares, they were so swift on their approach that it's just too daunting to go up against. Now it's going to be NST that rocks up ahead. They thought that Alter Ego is being weakened up, but no, it was a full squad still on the ready to go in for more battles. Now Krypton as well as Snape's going to rejoin the battle. And Kenboy's got to dodge this grenade. Thankfully, that's not a full connection at all, so he's going to be able to stay put. Sakura on the other side of the map will be able to strike down another member of Team Secret while they're at it. NST, if it's any time to show up, it's now up against the titans of the block, Alter Ego.
My God, I felt like that break just really changed the trajectory of how Alter Ego was thinking. Krypton is close, just rallying for his team to come inside, so he's able to go for that pickup there. NST cannot follow up to just secure that kill, as the rest of Alter Ego is providing so much cover fire for the team. You have the smokes, you have the crossfires, you have Moana as well with that nade. Kenboy can't even come super close. And now Krypton slowly making his way forward. Has a nice height advantage as well to really answer back. Molotov to keep them at bay. Rosemary once again knocked down. It's just so unlucky for him. Everywhere he goes, people seem to be marking him as already. As AE, Snape and the rest of his team looking to pick him up one more time. Shouldn't be a problem to do so. As NST, you could tell they're a little bit more passive in their team fight approach.
Yeah, all thanks to FaZe Clan, this fight is being stalled, and now here comes the rest of Sam9 as well, arriving on the worst of timings, as Pmsl is the first one to be clipped off. Mika also following suit, but he's being isolated instantaneously into the crosshair of Krypton. And the battle continues on between the two sides, as Sam9, they just walked into the wrong neighborhood.
Oh no, NST, this is very, very dangerous in terms of position. They barely have any space to work with. Oh my god, that nade actually just dropped down straight onto Kenboy. A very unfortunate situation. Just bounced off that buggy. And now the rest of Alter Ego on the bottom side here, rushing up to go to the top side. Rosemary on the outer edge just to provide a bit more cover and information as well for the long-range kills. And he's already positioned himself on the other side. He can just peek through a window, get a kill as the rest of Alter Ego throw in those nades and take away that space. The rest of the team here just eating chip damage at best, and they're just gonna wait out this onslaught.
An absolute domination coming from Alter Ego. They have yet to have a single member to be dropped, and that nade is gonna really chip out the health bars of those members stuck over onto the corner of the walls. There's nowhere to go, and now that will just blow up too, and with a single blow, Alter Ego rampaging through with that 7 points gained.
Hearing a lot of the sounds here coming through. We saw people passing by and Alter Ego actually challenged them. They weren't too concerned whether or not it's the same team or not. It's just about whoever crosses their peripheral vision, they shoot and they just take it. When you're that confident in your individual skills, you can get away with that, right? And you know, Sam9 was really punished for even crossing in that situation. They thought that they were able to do a drive-by, maybe try and third party in a situation and steal away a kill. They weren't able to do so.
Not at all, and all these teams thought that, hey, there's so much noise happening around that area, we can capitalize, but it was basically just Alter Ego winning clean fights one after another, and it's just impeccable on how they've been able to execute so cleanly. As much as, you know, we saw some lucky nades do happen, but the precision when it comes down to swarming into those compounds was a sight to behold. And now they get to enjoy so much of the spoils of war. Getting those restocks of smokes and even more frag grenades is just going to be them just snowballing out of control. We saw beautiful angles coming from Krypton. Snape also going for all these invades as well. It's just so clinical coming out of Alter Ego.
Oh god. Every time you see an Alter Ego replay and just kind of like slow it down, you watch it frame by frame and see the positions, it just says a lot about how they're working. Curious to hear like how the comms are like, whether they are calming or rather it's just, you know, they played with each other enough that they can understand each other in terms of movement. Regardless, another Indonesian derby coming around here. Indonesia and Malaysia have been meeting a lot today. Boom Esports toe-to-toe against BTR. The nades doesn't actually go where it is intended. But I think that both teams are being very wary as other teams are sort of moving around the area. Oh no, it's a bad situation right now as Alter Ego is stuck in a very dangerous predicament, stuck in a hole, in an area, lost 2 members already, has to stay alive, and they're so very low right now. Moving around the area here, Krypton as well as his teammate just staying alive by just being very mobile. Krypton trying to find the perfect angle to go a bit more aggressive as MXG just completely sprays through the smokes. And what a nade comes through from Alter Ego here. They were at a big disadvantage, but somehow managed to turn things around.
And they still won, and now it's already 11 points. Even if they tap out now, it's like they've already earned a chicken dinner. It's unbelievable how they're so relentless on their approach. And now only one survived, and that nade from Krypton was absolutely golden. Boom Esports now trading nades alongside with the rest of E-Arena. It's gonna be Pommet that soaks in the brunt of it, and oh, there's barely any health bars left coming from the side of Zero. And now backup arrives in the form of BTR. They still get shredded out with that beautiful toss coming in from Mormon, hoping to clean up. BTR also receiving some damage, Razy being knocked down. Mormon now needs to quickly heal up before they go on top of Mastery as well as Yummy. Turny K now gets the assault done, dropping those huge chunk over onto Yummy. Now both sides go on the reset.
Yummy barely survived that. And I have to say, there was a dangerous predicament to be in because the only thing they can cover with is just a 3-line. That nade means either you take the damage for the nade or you swing out and potentially get sprayed. And they chose to get naded out. Regardless, his teammates not going to be able to be recovered here. Another nade just really pressure off the other members of Boom Esports. I'm not too sure how Yummy is going to be able to survive this onslaught here. But the same could be said about EA as Sakura burns to death. And now you also have FaZe in the wings, pressuring from the other side. Every single team stuck in the blue zone in trouble. A long-range pickoff as well coming in from Chopper. And FaZe has done a phenomenal job of just choking these two teams and cornering them. And it's just Turney K, our last man standing for the team to be able to survive this onslaught. It's not going to be easy. He doesn't have a lot of throwables. He only has one molly. Shields and helmet, yeah, could help the survivability, but against a 4, staring right at you, not gonna be easy. And FaZe Clan, I think there's a lot of respect given here as they move together as a 3. Whoa, Turney K still rallying though. That nade plus a spray to the face means he gets a pickoff, moves forward, rushes up, but positions are just not that good. Chaco plays perfectly with his vehicle.
Perfect timing on that third party for FaZe Clan, and a little bit of a slight mishap as well because they thought that they have already fully cleared out both teams and maybe the other person is somewhere far away from the map. And look who's here, Krypton. Despite being all alone, he's still showing some form of aggression, but he walks right into the zone just in the nick of time before being caught out by FaZe Clan. That point is being denied. It is still FaZe Clan now charging up ahead. Still 13 teams remain. Alter Ego, despite bowing out, before even reaching placement points, 11 points is already worthwhile. I mean, they can already sit back and relax for the time being.
They can. They just take their time. They have a huge lead compared to Voin. But Voin is still very early in the game. They still, as a 4, very much active. If they get another 10 elims, catching up shouldn't be a problem at all, especially when you reach this last few circles. This last few circles, yes. I think Parajin does notice where the majority of the FaZe Clan members are, but FaZe Clan is just not moving at all, knowing that the northern side is completely in their control. They have some cover as well. They don't have to force anything.
They definitely don't have to. All the other teams right now just scouring around for some space in the middle of the fields of Gakta. And finally, it's going to be Levi's that gets the tap onto Chaco instead. Looking for that confirmation, but this is a little bit of a far out of reach. But they do spot out Canary trying to go in for the save, so this might just be a perfect double. Perfect execution, and now Team Secret is also hoping to steal some points away, but Lamborghini secures it by detonating that buggy by the far corner. And now spots out GK since he's revealed himself, so that's going to be 3 points back-to-back, all thanks to Levi's and Lambo.
I am in shock. Voin once again consistently in this top 4. The only team that's really gonna challenge them right now is the Xavier. And I think, we had this conversation about the Xavier. They were consistently in that top 4. In terms of eliminations, they're very much there. But what was their problem? Survivability. This time around, I think they figured it out. They did take a bit of chip damage, though, from Voin. And Voin, once again, always so proactive to find the perfect areas in that circle. Whether it be a compound, a high ground, a terrain. You want it, they got it.
Yeah, the only concern is if that circle does shift away, then Voin Donkey is pretty much stuck within that same shack, needing to move out of the way, and that could easily be spotted out by the rest of the teams. Well, I say team is pretty much just D-Saber because the others are lone rangers out in the field. And I can't help but to notice this is one of the fastest rounds that we're actually getting so many players being dropped out by Stage 6 itself. And now, down to the final few. D-Saber as well as Voin Donkey, they can afford to play it slow, and for the elusive members of Homeboys Magna Esports, they have been spotted out already by Lambo. That's going to be an easy pick, and FaZe Clan makes it to the top 3, despite them, drawing it into a late fight, finding a couple of all these advantages skirmishes. Herbs is absolutely in the pickle because he's been spotted out prior. The rest of FaZe Clan has got nowhere to go.
And chipped down to smithereens too. The circle actually shifted in Voin's favor as well. So whatever compound that the Xavier had, now gone. They smoked out one corner as well, just to deny a bit of a division. tracking not quite there, so Parajin is able to cross, but the same could not be said about his teammates. I think what Parajin is trying to do here is walk outside, get a majority of the intention on him to allow for his teammates to rotate out of the area. But again, that open field is not making it easy for them to even move out of the compound. The blue zone is gonna come by the way. The zone is gonna shrink, so they're in a terrible, horrible disadvantage unless they do something and quick.
Yeah, if it does move directly into the next center of the zone, then it might actually benefit the rest of the Savior now that they're a little bit more spread out in the form of position as compared to Voin Donkey, who is very reliant on to this compound space. So if it shifts outside of this compound itself, then Voin Donkey has got no option but to really play on flat ground terrains, which we saw. These Saber, they've been able to really take claim of all the other lurkers inside the grass so easily by doing so. So this is definitely a cosmic concern. Lambo being spotted out by the corner of the wall, so Zeta is absolutely going to be locking his crosshair towards that very far corner. Nate has gone unspotted though, so perhaps he will be able to find just about an opening to really keep the rest of Voin Donkey at bay. But now, buying for time, it does move in favor of Voin Donkey. They still have the shack, so this might just be a tree pit right now for the Indonesian squad.
I love Razak's positioning. He's always been a little bit more proactive in terms of the high ground here. He's gotten so much value from it. He can hear everything, see everything, but he keeps his head fairly low. Just waiting for that last circle to shrink, honestly, because at this point, it's just a Mexican standoff until that happens. But in terms of space, there's not a lot, and the blue zone is shrinking. As soon as D Xavier is actually pushed into the wide open areas, yeah, this exactly is gonna happen. It's a hail of bullets coming through, and Nate T cannot hold on, especially if you have someone as sharp as Razak and Zeta on the front lines.
Yeah, they're just trying to find a way to push closer and closer into the direction of Voin Donkey because they know that there's no other option but to really fight it out. And they just don't really have the angles behind that broken truck. And Lambo, he's got to make sure that this first contact is going to count for them to try to put an end to this current form that Voin Donkey has.
The nades come through. They're pressuring, and in fact, they're taking up so much space already. They have a nice 2-2 formation with two players inside of compound, a nice height-low. Zeta, a dangerous position to be in. Razak barely alive. But it doesn't really matter. Those smokes should buy a bit more time. At the very least, D Xavier is still rallying. Lost one member. It doesn't mean that it's over quite yet. They could make this even, especially since Razak has fallen. They can't pick up Razak. They could be able to go for these fights of Voin Donkey. Finds Lambar, who was just a little bit too tunneled to one player, and now comes the collapse. What Voin Donkey is very, very known for. The nade a bit too wide, but still enough damage. Half HP for both Zeta as well as Boxy. Weaving in and out of each other here. Playing with those smokes. Parajin will be the next one to fall. Levi, last man standing in a 1v2 all alone. But out of the three, he's the one with the most HP. Parajin and there's his teammates just rallying, giving that information out. Levi secures a kill. He secures two, but Zeta secures it in the end. And like it says, our comms are cleaner than your gameplay. Void, this map is your playground.
3 in a row. Undeniably the best team in ERANGLE. It's history in the making in the span of the opening day. We've never seen anything quite like it. Scrap all the doubters. Voin